Welcome back to Basecamp Engineering, where we make big ideas super easy to understand. I am Hardik, and today we will be learning dimensional analysis, unit conversions, and precision in engineering calculations. Don't let those words scare you. They are just fancy ways of saying we are going to learn how to measure things the right way, like making sure a toy car fits on a track, a rocket flies the right distance, or a bridge is built perfectly. These ideas help us measure things correctly, change measurements into the right units, and make sure their answers are super accurate. Imagine you are building a toy tower with blocks, but some blocks are measured in centimeters and others in meters. How do you make sure they fit together? That's what we are learning today. In this video, we will explore dimensional analysis, unit conversions, and precision. We will see how engineers use these ideas to build amazing things like bridges, spaceships, and even toys. By the end of this video, you will be a measuring master ready to help engineers with their big projects. Let's start with dimensional analysis. It's like being a detective to make sure your measurements make sense. Imagine you are building a toy bridge with blocks and you need to know if your blocks are the right size to fit together. Dimensional analysis helps engineers check if their calculations work by looking at the units, like meters for distance, seconds for time, or kilograms for weight. It's like making sure all the pieces of a puzzle fit perfectly. Let's make it super easy with some fun examples, and I will show you how to do it step by step. First, let's understand what units are. Units are the labels we use to measure things. For example, if you measure how far your toy car rolls, you might use meters. That's a unit for distance. If you measure how long it takes, you use seconds. That's a unit for time. Dimensional analysis is all about making sure the units in your calculation match what you are trying to find. Let's say you want to find the speed of your toy car. Speed is how far something goes in a certain amount of time. So the formula is speed is equals to distance divided by time. The units for speed should be distance units divided by time units, like meters per second. If your units don't match up, your answers won't make sense. Let's try a simple example with your toy car. Imagine you roll the car and it travels 20 meters in 5 seconds. You want to find its speed. Speed is equals to distance divided by time, which is equals to 4 meters per second. Now let's check the units. Meters divided by seconds becomes meters per second, which is exactly what speed should be. The units match up, so our answer makes sense. Dimensional analysis is like a checkpoint. It tells us we are on the right track. Now let's try something a bit trickier with a toy airplane. Imagine the airplane flies 30 meters in 6 seconds and you want to find its speed. Speed is equals to 5 meters per second. The units are meters divided by seconds, which is meters per second. Perfect. But what if you accidentally used the wrong units? Let's say you thought the time was 6 meters instead of 6 seconds. Then you will get 5. But 5 what? Meters divided by meters just gives you a number with no units. That doesn't make sense for speed. Speed needs to be in meters per second, not a plain number. Dimensional analysis helps us catch mistakes like that by checking the units. Let's do one more example with a rocket. The rocket's speed is 100 meters per second and it travels for 10 seconds. You want to find how far it goes. The formula is distance is equals to speed multiplied by time. Let's check the units first. Meters per second multiplied by seconds. The seconds cancel out, leaving just meters. So the units are meters, which is perfect for distance. Now calculate. The rocket travels 1000 meters and the units match up. Distance should be in meters and it is. Here is another fun scenario. Imagine you are calculating the area of a sandbox for a playground. The sandbox is 3 meters long and 2 meters wide. Area is equals to length multiplied by width, which is equals to 6 meters squared. The units are meters multiplied by meters, which becomes meters squared. That's the right unit for area. But what if you accidentally used seconds for the width, like 2 seconds? Then you would get 6 meters seconds. That doesn't make sense for area. Area should be in meters squared, not meters seconds. Dimensional analysis helps engineers avoid mistakes like this when they design real playgrounds, bridges, or even spaceships. Engineers use it all the time to make sure their calculations are correct before they build something big. Let's test what you learned with a quick quiz. A car travels 50 meters in 10 seconds. What's its speed and do the units make sense? The answer is A, 5 meters per second. Yes. Great job. Let's move on to unit conversions next. Now, let's talk about unit conversions. It's like changing the labels on your measurements to make them fit. Imagine you measure your toy car and it's 10 centimeters long, but your friend needs the length in meters to build a track for a race. Unit conversions help you change from one unit to another, like centimeters to meters, kilometers to miles, or even seconds to minutes. Engineers use this all the time to make sure their measurements match up when they are designing things. Let's break it down with some fun examples, and I will show you how to do it step by step. Unit conversions use something called a conversion factor, a number that tells you how two units are related. For example, 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. That means if you want to convert centimeters to meters, you divide by 100 because there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. But if you want to convert meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100. Let's try it with your toy car. It's 10 centimeters long and you want to know how many meters that is. Since 100 centimeters is equals to 1 meter, you divide. So your toy car is 0.1 meters long. Now, what if you have a track that's 2 meters long and you need it in centimeters? You multiply, which is 200 centimeters. Let's try another example with a rocket. The rocket travels 5 kilometers, but your map uses meters. There are 1000 meters in 1 kilometer. So, to convert kilometers to meters, you multiply by 1000. The rocket travels 5000 meters. Now, what if you need the distance in centimeters? There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So, you do another conversion 500,000 centimeters. That's a really long distance for a rocket. Let's break it down even more. What if you need the distance in millimeters? There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So you multiply again. That's 5 million millimeters. Unit conversions help engineers make sure all their measurements are in the same units before they start building or calculating. Now, let's try converting time. Imagine you are timing a car race and the race lasts 120 seconds, but you want to know how many minutes that is. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So, to convert seconds to minutes, you divide. The race lasts 2 minutes. What if you need it in hours? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So, you divide again, which is 0.0333 hours. That's a very short race, about 2 minutes. Engineers use time conversions like this to plan things like race schedules, rocket launches, or even how long a bridge takes to build. Let's do one more example with weight. Imagine you are building a toy boat and it weighs 500 grams, but the instructions need the weight in kilograms. There are 1000 grams in 1 kilogram. So, to convert grams to kilograms, you divide. Your boat weighs zero point 0.5 kilograms. Now, what if you need the weight in milligrams? There are 1000 milligrams in 1 gram. So, you multiply. That's 500,000 milligrams. Wow. Unit conversions make sure engineers can work with any unit they need. No matter what the instruction says, they are like a translator for measurements. They make sure everyone speaks the same language, whether it's length, time, or weight. Engineers use conversions to make their designs perfect. Let's test what you learned with a quiz. A toy rocket is 50 centimeters tall. How many meters is that? The answer is A, zero point 0.5 meters. Nice work. Now, let's explore precision in engineering calculations. It's all about making sure your answers are just right. Precision is like using a ruler to measure a block exactly, not just guessing. In engineering, being precise means your measurements and calculations are accurate and have the right number of digits, so you don't make mistakes. If you are too precise or not precise enough, your answer might look wrong, even if the math is correct. Let's make it easy with some examples, and I will show you how to be precise step by step. Precision is about how many digits you use in your answer, and it depends on the measurements you start with. For example, if you measure a toy block with a ruler and it's 2.3 centimeters long, that's precise to one decimal place. If another block is 1.45 centimeters, that's precise to two decimal places. When you do calculations with these measurements, you need to match the precision of the least precise number. Let's try adding the block's lengths, which is 3.75 centimeters. But 2.3 only has one decimal place, so we round 3.75 to one decimal place, which is 3.8 centimeters. That's being precise. It matches the least precise measurement. If we kept 3.75, it would look more precise than our original measurements, which could be misleading. Now, let's try multiplying. Imagine you are calculating the area of a rectangle for a mat. One side is 4.2 meters long and the other is 3 meters wide. Area is equals to length multiplied by width, which is equals to 12.6 square meters. The number 3 has no decimal places. It's a whole number. So we round 12.6 to no decimal places, which is 13 square meters. Precision makes sure your answer isn't more detailed than your measurements. If you kept 12.6, it might seem like you measured more precisely than you did, which isn't right for engineering. Let's try another example with a rocket's speed. The rocket travels 123.456 meters in 5.2 seconds. Speed is equals to distance divided by time, which is equals to 23.74153846 meters per second. That's a lot of digits. But 5.2 has one decimal place and 123.456 has three decimal places. So we use the least precise number, which is one decimal place. We round 23.74153846 to one decimal place, which is 23.7 meters per second. Engineers use precision like this to make sure their calculations for things like rocket speeds or airplane distances are reliable and not misleading. Now, let's look at a time example. Imagine you are timing a toy car race. The car takes 10.25 seconds to finish one lap and 9.8 seconds for another lap. What's the total time? First, add, which is 20.05 seconds. Now, check the precision. 10.25 has two decimal places, but 9.8 has one decimal place. So, we round to one decimal place, 20.1 seconds. Precision makes sure your answer matches the least precise measurement, so it's fair and accurate. Precision is like being a careful chef. You measure just the right amount so everything turns out perfect. It helps engineers avoid mistakes and make sure their designs are safe and strong. Let's test what you learned with a quiz. A block is 2.5 centimeters long and another is 1.15 centimeters long. What's their total length with the right precision? The answer is A, 3.7 centimeters. Great job. Let's see these ideas in action next. Now, let's see how dimensional analysis, unit conversions, and precision help engineers make awesome things. We have learned how to check units, change measurements, and be precise. And engineers use all these ideas to build stuff like bridges, spaceships, and even airplanes. First, let's build a bridge. The bridge needs to be 1500 meters long, but the engineer's plan uses kilometers. Using unit conversions, 1500 meters divided by 1000 is equals to 1.5 kilometers. The engineer checks the area of a support, 9.2 square meters. They use dimensional analysis. Meters multiplied by meters is equals to square meters, which is correct for area. Then they round to 9 square meters because 4 has no decimal places. That's precision. This makes sure the bridge's supports are the right size and strong enough. Next, let's launch a spaceship. The spaceship's speed is 20,000 kilometers per hour, but the control team needs it in meters per second. First, convert kilometers to meters, which is equals to 20 million meters. Then, convert hours to seconds. 1 hour is equals to 3600 seconds. So, it is approximately 5555.555 meters per second. For precision, round to 556 meters per second. Dimensional analysis confirms distance divided by time is equals to meters per second, which is correct for speed. This helps the team make sure the spaceship is going fast enough to reach space. Finally, let's help an airplane fly. The airplane travels 10,800 kilometers in 3 hours, and engineers need its speed in kilometers per hour. Speed is equals to 3600 kilometers per hour. Dimensional analysis, kilometers divided by hours is equals to kilometers per hour, which is correct. The time 3 hours is a whole number, so the speed stays 3600 km per hour. No rounding needed. Unit conversions might come in if they need the speed in meters per second. But for now, this helps engineers make sure the airplane flies at the right speed for a safe trip. These ideas make sure everything is measured just right so their designs work perfectly. Let's wrap up with some practice questions to test what you learned. We have learned so much about dimensional analysis, unit conversions, and precision in engineering calculations today. Let's go over what we discovered. Dimensional analysis helps us check if our measurements make sense, like a puzzle. Unit conversions let us change measurements, like turning centimeters into meters. Precision makes sure our answers are just right, not too big or too small. You have seen how engineers use these ideas to build bridges, launch spaceships, and help airplanes fly. I hope you are excited about measuring things now. To keep practicing, I have got 10 fun questions for you, so you can test what you learned. Try them out, write your answers in the comments, and I will pin the solutions. We make new videos every Friday, so subscribe and hit the bell to keep learning with us. See you next Friday.